Huge fans, Good News Webs, it's me, Sam SG1, back for Star Trek The Official Starships Collection, issue number 74, the Bajoran Raider, and as per usual you get the glossy magazine and the model itself, but more on that in a little bit. So, the Bajoran Raider, type Strike Fighter, in operation 24th century, mass 108.96 metric tons, crew 2, length 33.10 metres, propulsion 33 metres, that's quite big. Propulsion sub-impulse, weaponry 2 phaser emitters. And then we've got a really nice shot of the arse end there, quite cool. Bajor had 5 moons, including Derna and Gerado. The latter was home to Luna 4, a small camp resistance cell set up during the Cardassian occupation. And then we've got some shots of it from the episode The Siege. So we've got Kira flying it there. And yeah, it's a really good episode actually. It's one of Deep Space Nine's earliest season 2 opener. The first 3-part, I think the only 3-part of all of Star Trek. But it's a really good story. The Circle, the Homecoming, the Circle, and the Siege. Really good episodes. And we starring what do they call him? Frank Langella, who played Skeletor. And Alan Oppenheimer also starred in Deep Space Nine as Captain Declan Keown of the USS Odyssey, who's also famous for playing Skeletor. So there you go. A bonus trivia fact you might not have known. Jarrah Esser was Minister of the Bajoran Provisional Government, but he was also a leader of the Alliance of Global Unity, an extremist faction, also known as the Circle, wanted all aliens expelled from Bajor. He smuggled in weapons and claimed them to achieve his aim, unaware that Cardassians had actually supplied them. Evidence emerged of the Cardassian involvement, and Kira was given the task of using Bajoran Raider to get this proof to the Chamber of Ministers before it was too late. Yeah. And then we've got the topographical view of the ship there. Really cool. I like the multiple ones. Yeah. According to Deep Space Nine's technical manual by Herman Zimmerman and Rick Sternbach and Doug Drexler, the Bajoran Raider was powered by a Coanda cycle chemical air ram system. It's an antique vessel. The official script for the Siege described the Raider as the smallest, most archaic-looking spacecraft we've ever seen in Star Trek. In 20th century terms, it's a biplane. Several Bajoran starships were capable of warp drive in the 24th century, but their vessels were not nearly as sophisticated as those used by Starfleet, and somewhat surprising given the Bajorans undertook first interstellar flights as long ago as the 16th century in solar-powered sail ships. Yeah. And then we've got some design of the Bajoran Raider, and then we've got some beautiful cockpit design there. I think it's a John Eves ship. Let me just check. Jim Martin. Yeah, Jim Martin's ship. The pseudo model of the Bajoran Raider was built by the model shop owned by Tony Marninger. The outer panels were made to look old, worn, and reflected the idea that the ship has been built with salvaged parts. So just take a look at the ship there. It's sort of a coppery brown colour. You'll notice the difference when I show you the model properly. And then we've got creating the Bajorans, and it goes into the various episodes in, the Bajorans introduced, and I believe it is Ensign Ro of Next Generation the first introduced. Let's go through all the history of the Bajorans in the show. Bajorans were a spiritual race that had troubled history. They were set up to provide plenty of conflict to Jarma with Starfleet. Then, more production history of the Bajorans and stuff. Because originally, Ensign Ro was offered the first officer role of Deep Space Nine, Michelle Forbes, but she passed. And, of course, the character of Kira was created, and fantastically played by Nana Visitor. So, yes. And then we've got on screen. First appearance, The Circle. Yeah, I was right. Designed by Jim Martin. And it says it was... it was shown again in Shadows. First appearance in The Circle, and then shown again in Shadows and Symbols, as part of a blockade fleet. Sorry, I had trouble swallowing then. I do apologise. Trivia: the Monarch shipyard, featured in Star Trek Deep Space Nine episode Shadows and Symbols, was designed by John Eaves. They were named after Deep Space Nine special effects supervisor Gary Monarch. The technique used by General Martok's Bird of Prey was to destroy the shipyard. It was the same solar fusion eruption method devised by Ensign Tate to vaporise the Borg Renegade ship in Star Trek Next Generation episode Descent Part 2. General Krim, who appeared in Deep Space Nine episode The Siege, was played by Stephen Match. I think I'm pronouncing that. At one point, Match was in serious consideration for the role of Captain Jean-Luc Picard, Star Trek The Next Generation, before Patrick Stewart was chosen. Tobin Dax, the second host of the Dax symbiont, is mentioned the first time in Star Trek Deep Space Nine episode The Siege. Jadzia Dax said of him that he barely had a sex life, no imagination, but he knew phase coil inverters like no one else. As you do. Yeah, so... that's General Krim, and he could have been Captain Picard. So there you go. And that's the magazine. Very good this week. Now onto the model itself. Now, it's the wrong colour, firstly. It should be a more darker, sort of coppery colour. But it's pretty cool. The design they've gone into this one is really good. And it's sort of like, why have you done an excellent job producing this one, despite the wrong colour, and then you couldn't really do the Enterprise A to this standard? It's absolutely mind-boggling. But it's really cool. I like it. I'd like to have seen the damaged one, as in the one that's used on screen, because it's like pocked with like phaser hits and stuff. But yeah, it's a really cool model. There's got some great detail in there. You get the phaser emitters sticking out the wingtips there, and you've got a cockpit, which is really nice. Looks like a communications an array. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. If it's going to focus, are you going to focus? No, but there's a little bit sticking out there that looks like possibly a communications array. Yeah, it's really good. Actually, I've just noticed the paint job on it does look like it's been hit by phasers, but it's just not picked out as darkly as it could be. Join line's great. It's metal on top, plastic on bottom. The underside is very nicely detailed as well. You've got a real nice sub-impulse engine there. Overall, really good. I really like this. It's nice to see a different ship. I do believe this isn't the first time we've got a Bajoran Raider. I do believe there was a Micro Machines one they did. Let's see. Micro Machines. Yes, there was. Well, who'd have thunk it? Yeah, there is a Micro Machines one, yeah, which is in the right colour. But I think it was one of the later ones that they did. But you know, overall, I think it's a really good model. I don't think Attackwing have done one yet, actually, which is surprising. But yeah, it's really nice. Just the colour is wrong. It's they've gone with a more Starfleet type colour, and it should be more of a, like I say, more of a coppery colour. I'm just trying to find a ship that the same colour. I'm just looking over there. I'm not going to reach over for it because I know I'll break one of them. But the same colour that the Fortunate was, that type of colour. But overall, I think it's a really good model. It's nice to see some Bajoran love in the set, because the only other Bajoran ship we've got thus far is the Solar Sailor, and that is a bit of a letdown, if I'm honest. But yeah, really like it. It fits to the, and it says on the bottom there, where are we? Bajoran Raider, and it fits to the model thusly, and it's quite secure on there actually, and it does look good on its stand. It really does. So I keep forgetting this. The camera's not here; it's here now. It stands on it stands on its stand. Stands on its stand. That's not even a sentence, does it? It stands on the plinth very nicely. It's really secure. It isn't going to come off. But overall, fantastic. If you're cherry picking these, if you're a Deep Space Nine fan, if you're only getting all the Deep Space Nine ships, then this is a ship that you should get. Like I say, it's nice to see some Bajoran love. But yeah, I'm quite enamoured with it actually. Just wish it was the right colour. You know, and just a bit. And that's the only criticism I've got. It's the wrong colour. Other than that, perfect. So yeah, that's me. That's the Bajoran Raider, and I will catch you next time. Bye for now.